Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on, tuning in, Googling all the things that they do on the computer. Whatever you did to get here, we're glad you're here. We are in Orlando, Florida at the International Christian Film and Music Festival on world famous International Drive right here in sunny Florida, and we are hanging out with Hangin' With Web Show alumnus and good friend David Vincent Bobb, the director, producer of Right Before Your Eyes. David, man, awesome.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
you. Wow, we spoke, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When this was in its infancy.
Right.
And just starting to come together.
Yeah.
And here you are, man. Here you are.
Here we are, yeah.
3 awards.
Yeah.
Nominated for 3 awards.
Right.
You just had your screening. We were in there and we caught the applause and you know, people inspired by your story.
Right. Talk to a distributor.
Talk to a distributor.
Oh, man.
That's right. Looking for a theatrical release coming up. We're going to make sure you have details down below so you know where to find Right Before Your Eyes.
Right.
All right, man. Let's remind them all. Let's remind them where this journey started. You know?
Yeah. Well, the story was written originally about 15 years ago. I was an addict and alcoholic, and it's a story about a guy, much like what I was going through at the time with addiction. Just wanted to get home to his son. I have an autistic son, and I just couldn't break the stranglehold my addiction had on me. And I think the writing was part of my part of the recovery process for me. Yeah. So that's what started it all, writing the story, and
Wow.
and then I found my faith again, and I was at a point where my life felt like it was over. I had to make a choice between cleaning up my act or dying, and that's where I was. I was homeless, and I was out of luck and out of time, and I needed to do something.
You know, it is for all you out there on YouTube, especially creative artists, you have to know that sometimes you find the greatest things rock bottom.
Yep.
Because sometimes you have to shed your own bags before you can actually see what's around you.
Yeah.
You were homeless. You
Yeah.
were on the streets.
Right.
Just wanting to get back to being a dad.
Yeah.
And struggling through that process.
Right.
And with some really, really good help. I know we're going to give a shout out to them, the folks over at the Mission.
Yeah, Bethesda Mission.
Bethesda Mission.
Yeah.
With the help of the folks at Bethesda Mission.
Yes.
And your mom.
Right.
You were able to bring that together.
And my church.
And your church.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity Greek
And
Orthodox
now-
Cathedral. Yeah.
And now here you are. Your story is set to inspire others.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And whether it's on the festival circuit or in a theater, wink, wink, nod, nod, that's where it's going, guys.
We're hoping.
You're going to be inspiring people all over the country.
Yeah, that's the goal.
I mean, that's an amazing journey, man.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked 2 years ago at the beginning of this thing, and since then you've had you've been on set, you've been shooting the film, you've been working with actors, directors, cinematographers, you've been working with all this great collaborative cast.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you that you knew this is real, man? This is going to happen? I mean, when you and I talked before, you knew you wanted it. You knew you were hungry. You were chomping at the bit. And you had signed some principal cast. You had signed, another Hangin' With Web Show alumnus, Brian O'Halloran.
Right.
To be on the cast.
That's how I met you guys.
And you were doing that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what was that moment when you knew this is real? This isn't my pipe dream anymore.
There was a moment on set when it happened. We talked about yesterday on the Hangin' With Web Show, but there was a moment where I was like, wow, this is really happening. And it's when the trailer came out. I posted the trailer and people were like, whoa, because it's me, first of all, the recovering addict and alcoholic with the autistic son. Yeah, this guy's going to make a film. Okay, I would tell everyone about it, and they'd be like, yeah, okay. They were expecting something to come out on a Betamax tape or something, People saw the trailer.
Stop laughing, all you millennials. It was a thing.
Yeah, it was Betamax.
It was a thing.
I have to give a shout out to Bridget Smith, who was the editor. She was absolutely phenomenal. The way she put that trailer together and captured what the film was going to be about before it even came out. That's when I knew that we had something really, really special, and people were excited to see the film when they saw that trailer. So yeah,
it really is. I want to tell you, first of all, I don't gush. I'll tell you that I like your stuff, and that's great, and it's a compliment. But I don't gush over much. All right. So when I tell you this, we were in and we saw the film. We went to support our friend.
Yeah.
I was blown away, man.
Thank you.
The work that you guys put in on that film was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
I appreciate that.
It was done with the highest professional standards.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, people don't know what to expect. It's your first film.
Yeah.
It's an independent project.
Right.
People don't know what to expect. They want to be supportive. They don't know what to expect. When you walk into that film, you walk out very, very satisfied.
Yeah.
With a wonderful story.
I appreciate that.
Told well.
Thank you.
And it was amazing. So, as a filmmaker, though, you had to learn a lot about the process.
Right.
You had to learn everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you started off fresh.
Grassroots, man.
Grassroots, man. You started off fresh, just, hey, I'm going to make a movie.
Yep.
And everybody looking at you like, okay.
Yeah.
What was the biggest takeaway? What was the biggest lesson that you learned, man?
From making the film, the biggest lesson? To never do it again. No, I'm kidding. That it is not
don't
easy.
you believe it, baby.
I have so much.
He designed a logo and everything.
Yeah.
He's in it to win it.
Yeah, I have so much respect for people like you and people that do this for a living. It is so difficult, especially when you're the only person doing most things. I was doing a lot. Executive producer, I directed it. It was my first time directing. Wrote it. Everything. It's the whole film process itself. I learned so much.
There's so
much.
There
was.
It's an in-depth educational experience.
Yeah.
And on your first time out, you from directing to working with cinematographers to get the right shots.
Yeah.
And to see your vision unfold.
Right.
Was there a moment though when what was your biggest doubtful moment? Was a moment the dailies came back that just weren't right. There was a moment that you looked at the footage and you were like, I just don't know.
Well,
Was there ever a moment when you kind of because you know what, every journey has that stumbling block. Every story has.
Yeah, sure.
Conflict, complication.
Yeah.
And what was your complication? What was your moment?
There was a moment, and it was we had to do some pickup shots. We had to film was the homeless stuff on the street when he runs into the guy that he thinks is his dad.
Yep.
Ethan wakes up from in the film. Ethan wakes up from a drunken stupor in the street. He's homeless. He thinks there's the guy that's his dad. That film was an absolute nightmare to shoot. We couldn't get the timing right. The actors weren't performing correctly. But luckily, I am an actor, so I was able to get them back in the line. But you know what? What the funny thing about that scene, though, is the one that was the biggest challenge was the one that came out one of the best scenes of all of them. Yeah,
really
and that's really what we learned from that was, and no matter how bad it gets, you can always make something good out of it. And so that was the moment where I was feeling doubtful. I was like, oh man, we're never gonna get this finished because we can't get this scene done. It was like 0 hour. There was no time left. But we pulled it together. They did. I think I ran off into a corner and prayed.
You are nominated for 3 awards.
Yeah,
at
3
this
awards.
Festival.
Yeah.
What are they?
Best feature film, most inspirational film, and best lead actor for Adam Ratcliffe, who plays me in the film.
Fantastic, man. Really awesome.
Yeah.
Inspirational film.
Yeah.
I want to go to that because you and I, we talk about this offline when we're not in front of the cameras all the time.
Yeah.
It's one thing to live your story.
Right.
Right. It's quite another thing to look out over an audience. When the lights came up in that room in there, and you looked out over that audience and saw the way people were looking. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about what this story is doing and saying to your audiences?
I feel fulfilled, man. I really do. It's been a journey. It's been a heck of a journey, and I still get emotional every time I even talk about it. But it felt complete. Like that's what I wanted to see in those faces. I wanted to see people, and get the reaction that I got, that they honestly believed what they were seeing and bought into it.
I will say that a lot of films and a lot of indie projects that are by first-time filmmakers. Once you're into a story, you're into the story.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times that suspension of disbelief is something that's really hard to establish.
Right.
This is my world. This is my universe.
Yeah.
And this is where you're going to live for the next hour and a half of your life.
Right.
Right off the bat, in the first bit of your film, I noticed that was there. Your audience
Thank you.
was hooked. Your
Yeah.
audience was in your world, in your universe.
Yeah.
They were riding on a train. And
I was peeking over my shoulder to see, and everybody was looking
That's
at
right.
me. Yeah, it was.
That is a fulfilling moment
Beautiful thing,
as a
yeah.
filmmaker.
Yeah.
You got them to suspend their disbelief long enough to just do it. And You know, here we're at the International Christian Film Festival here.
Yep.
And it's people of faith, and they are going to be inspired by your film.
Yeah.
One of the things that we were struck by as we watched the film, though, is that whether you walk into the theater with belief or faith in any given thing or not, it's an inspirational story. It's
right.
a human story.
It is. Yeah.
Did you find it easy or difficult to separate those elements that you found were part of your faith from those things that are just a plain old human truth?
No, I didn't. It was me being me, and that's one of the things that I actually talked to a distributor afterwards, and he said he felt that too. It was just sometimes faith-based films, you know, and it's not a knock on them. Believe me, it sometimes doesn't feel like maybe it's just all faith, or you don't have that dark side to them, you know. And you have to. I just tried to be as honest as I could. I really did, and that's what it comes down to. And it was me just. It's very hard, first of all, to put your life out into it. You know, this is me opening myself to the world. Here's what happened to me. A lot of people can't do that, and that's why people die from addiction. They're afraid to tell people what they're going through or that they're struggling with this problem. It makes them feel weak and that. But yeah, I definitely feel like that it was. Yeah, it came down to that. Yeah.
No, it's good, honest storytelling, and
yeah,
you know that's what it comes down to.
Right.
As a storyteller, is finding that core of a person.
Right.
And being honest to that, and
yeah.
true to that, because whether it's faith in the Almighty or faith in yourself, or
right.
faith in your family or your community, it's that faith and that strength that pulls you out of those circumstances,
right.
and you need that. And to inspire people, you needed to show them that. And
right.
you had a great cast,
yeah,
an amazing cast.
Yeah.
That seemed to work very well together.
Yeah.
Now, we sat in the theater and we noticed that Christian's here with you.
Yes.
And you've had a challenge as a dad, man.
Yeah.
Raised a young man that's on the autism spectrum.
That's right.
And you've raised him virtually alone.
Right.
And he's, by the way, a wonderful young man.
Thank you.
We really
Appreciate
enjoyed
that.
talking
Yeah.
to him while we were in there.
He held it together.
What does he think? What does he think? I mean, when he's able to sit and really talk to Dad and just say, you know,
yeah.
what's he think about what's going on around?
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, my son is autistic, and this film was inspired by him. You know, the story, you know, parallels my life. A father getting home to his son.
Does he realize when he sees those characters? Does he realize?
That's what I wanted to tell you.
Does something speak to him?
Yeah, he was asking me during the film, and he did this several times. He asked me, "That's me, right?" He would say, "That's me on the screen." I was like, "Yeah, that's you. That's the guy. That's the kid that's playing you." And he asked me if that's a bad person or that's a good person. Mostly about me. Yeah, I was a bad person. I did some things that were not good, and his general interest is, it seems like as the more we watch it, it's hard for him to focus with the ADD and everything.
Yeah.
But as I saw him today, his eyes were glued to the screen, and then every once in a while he looked at me and was that my mom? Yeah, that was Krista. That was your mom, and that's who played her. And oh, okay. And he was asking me questions that before he wasn't asking. So he's starting to himself. Starting to figure out and comprehend what the film is about and who is who. Yeah.
Again, you could show this film to 100,000 people. You could show this film and break box office records.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when someone who sees with the eyes of a child,
yeah,
when someone like Christian looks
yeah.
at that,
yeah,
and they see a story and they have questions and it has answers and it inspires them,
yeah,
job well done.
Absolutely,
That's a good
yeah.
storyteller,
Absolutely,
right? So
yeah.
You've done a great job. We have to wrap it up. They're going to wave that card at us again. You keep doing that to us, but okay, we'll do it. So we're going to say thank you to our partners and friends before we go. Our great partners over at Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics and Indie Originals, our good friend Jay Bauer at Jay Bauer Art, the folks over at Celestial Healings, Krypton Radio, the Foxwood Wine Company, of course, our dear friend Yvonne Mason at Off the Chain Radio. We're here at the International Christian Film and Music Festival. There's a lot of
You nailed it.
Film and Music Festival in Orlando, Florida on I Drive. We've been hanging out with David, Vincent Bobb. Check out the links down below for where you will be able to see right before your eyes coming up. And you know what? Just keep checking back on the Hangin with Web Show page, because as soon as David's film is out in theaters or digitally or wherever it is, we're going to make sure we update you and let you know where to see it and check it out at, okay? David, thank you so much for hanging out with
Garrett.
us, man. You guys stay tuned in, stay logged on, and see who we're hanging with next.
Do you You know, Ethan, one day you are going to be the best dad in the world, and I'm going to be one proud grandma. I truly believe that.
You called your son. You personally promised him you would be here. He didn't have a birthday cake, Ethan. Who does that to his son?
Woo! Where you headed, young man?
See my son, Lucas. A man can't put that kind of weight on his shoulders. It really starts to crush his soul.
We found out he was severely autistic.
You're not allowed to see him or talk to him until you're sober for at least a year.
He's my son, Sarah! Most painful thing in the world to have to watch your kid grow up through pictures. Lucas, come on, buddy! Your daddy loves you, you gotta know it, pal. I want to be there for his first words.
With God's touch, anything is possible.
Lucas, I don't know how to help you!
A son needs his father.
I just keep thinking, what if he doesn't forgive me?
Prayer is a powerful thing, Ethan. It really does work. If you believe.
You gotta remember, there's people out there that love you. Because life goes by just like that.
The process of your recovery is within.
What reason does he have to care about some guy who's supposed to be his dad, but is never around?
The man upstairs knows a little bit about giving a life for something.
I can't do it, I can't. I'm not ready for this, man.
Lucas is gone.
I spent my whole life trying to get a purpose and try and be a dad. I finally get it. And you're trying to take it away from me, man.
But as for me, I will look to the Lord.
I'm done with you.
God has 3 ways of answering. Yes, no, and wait.
We all deserve a second chance. Right, Ethan?